Okay, so today we're looking at 7th chords. Specifically, we're looking at how you make major, minor, dominant, or diminished 7th chords. Now, before we do this video, you're going to need to understand how you make major scales and major key signatures, and it all builds from there. So to start with, just like how we worked out all the other chords, write out a C major scale or a C major key signature and draw the scale degree numbers underneath. Really easy, so let's do that. What we've done now is we've written out the C major scale, yep, from C all the way up to the highest C, like an octave higher, yeah? So now we're just going to write underneath the scale degrees, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, back to the beginning. If you've seen my other video on how to create major chords, triad chords, with the 1, 3, and the 5, it's exactly the same, only this time you want 1, 3, 5, and 7, okay? So, start off, you want the 1, you don't want the 2, you want the 3, you don't want 4, you definitely want the 5, you don't want the 6, you want the 7, and you can take out the 8. So that's it. So that's how you make a major 7th chord. It's just that easy. You have the 1, the 3, the 5, and then the 7. And that's it. Really simple stuff. So let's stack it up vertically to look at it another way. So remembering what scale degrees you want the 1, the 3, the 5, and the 7. You draw that up. 1, 3, 5, 7. And then just as just as we did before, you just remember those letter names. C, E, G, B. Easy. So looking at it vertically, in this sort of order, can sometimes sort of picture it better in your head. So you can look at it horizontally or vertically, either way. You just have to remember that for a major 7th chord, that's what you've got. You've got the 1, the 3, the 5, and the 7. I'll do a quick other example in the key of A. So we're going to look at an A major 7th chord. All right, here we go. Okay, so just as we did with C major, I've drawn out the A major scale or the A major key signature. And we want the 1, the 3, the 5, and the 7. Easy. So get rid of the 2, get rid of the 4, get rid of the 6, and get rid of the 8. And all those there are the notes in the A major 7th chord. And let's draw it vertically. One, 3, 5, 7. A, C sharp, E, G sharp. Easy. So in some people's minds it works better looking at it vertically, stacking it up that way. Other people do it horizontally. Either way, I always start off writing it out, all the notes horizontally, and then wiping them out. It just works better for me that way. Great. Something to think about with major 7th chords is major 7th chords could look like this. So they could do this. They could do that, so instantly you know that's going to be a major 7th. But that's not going to be the case. Sometimes you might see this. You might just see C and then the letters M, A, J. And J stands for major, and 7 stands for the 7th. But sometimes you even see less than that. Sometimes you only see C, capital M, 7. Sometimes you might just see that. If it was a little m, it would more indicate that it was like a minor 7th chord as opposed to a capital M. But those are the different ways that that in general sort of sheet music you're going to see a major 7th. So the important thing to remember is if you wanted a major chord, let's say you wanted a B major chord, yeah? You'd write out the B major scale, you do the scale degree numbers underneath, and you take out the ones you don't want. So you only want 1, 3, 5, 7. That's it. Okay, so now we're going to look at minor 7th chords, okay? So exactly as we did the other ones, you draw out the C major scale or the C major key signature, draw out the scale degree numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now if you remember in the last video I showed you with creating minor chords, that a major chord is 1, 3, 5. A minor triad chord is 1, flat 3, 5. If you don't remember, go back and check out that other video. But so pressing on, so in a minor 7th chord, we want the 1, the 3 that's then flattened, the 5, and then the 7, but the 7's also flattened. So first let's get rid of the scale degree letters that we don't want. So we don't want the 2, or the 4, We want the 5, we don't want the 6 or the 8, okay? So if you're looking at all those letters there, 1, 3, 5, 7, that's a C major chord. To turn it into a minor chord, so E goes down to E flat, down a fret or a semitone, and then the 7th also goes down. So it goes down a semitone or a fret, so B becomes B flat, and just put a flat on the 7th. So there, that's how you work out a C minor 7th chord. 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7. Or the letter names are C, E flat, G, B flat. Done. Let's stack it vertically because some people it helps to see it in a vertical area. So remember, 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7. C, E flat, G, B flat. Done. So that's all there is to it. That's how you make a minor 7th chord. I'm just going to quickly do this exactly the same thing in another key just to show you another example. Okay, let's pick another key. Let's do D. So we're going to start off writing out a D major key signature or a D major scale and then turn it into a D minor 7th chord. Here we go. 1, 3, 5, 7, and then you flatten the 3rd and flatten the 7th because it's a minor 7th chord. You wouldn't flatten those two if it was a major 7th, okay? So we write down the scale degree numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's go backwards, take out the 8, take out the 6, take out the 4 and the 2. So there you have it. That's D major 7th, but we flatten the 3rd, so put a flat on the 3, and then instead of F, it's going to go down a semitone. So instead of F sharp, it's going to go down a semitone to F. And then instead of a normal 7, it's going to be a flat 7, so the C sharp goes down to C. So it just goes from C sharp down a fret or down a semitone. And that's it. Exactly the same. You can draw that up vertically, it doesn't matter. 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7. That's how you work out a minor 7th chord. Great, well done. Now there's a few different ways, if you're looking at sheet music or at tabs or whatever, that you might see a minor 7th chord written out. So I'll show you, okay? So you might see C, if it's a C chord, and then minor next to it. If you see minor written out, you know it's a minor chord, C minor. If you see the 7th next to it, that's how you might see it. You might see C minor 7th. But you might see it C and then the word min. Now min's just standing for minor, so C minor 7 again. Or you could see this. C little m 7, okay? And so the little m stands for minor. It comes up every now and again. I know it seems a little crazy, like the M could mean major or minor. It's just because it's smaller that it's sort of indicating more that it's a minor chord. And that's it, well done. So the important thing to remember is it's just like all the other chords. If you wanted, let's say an E minor 7th chord, you just write out the E major scale. You take out the ones you don't want. You only want 1, 3, 5, and 7. And then you just flatten the 3 down, and then you flatten the 7th, and that's it. So it works, so you can now create any minor 7th chord. Well done. Okay, so today we're looking at how you work out a dominant 7th chord, okay? So it's just like all the other videos. So if you don't know how to make a major scale, because that's what we're doing it from, go back and watch those other videos and watch the key signature videos, and then watch building, triads if you're not sure how to make triads, okay? So first off, we've written a C major scale or a C major key signature. Because there's no sharps or flats, it's really easy to see it, all the notes, okay? Then draw the scale degree numbers out there. Okay, maybe you'll be neater than me. Then once you've done that, in a dominant 7th chord, you want 1, 3, 5, flat 7. Okay, so get rid of the other ones you don't want. So you don't want the 8, you don't want the 6, you don't want the 4, or the 2. It's going to be a C major 7th chord. All you do is you flatten the 7th, yeah? So a little flat on the 7th, little flat on the B, and now suddenly that's a C dominant 7th chord. Okay? It's not minor because you have a major 3rd there. You didn't flatten the 3rd to turn it from a major into a minor. You kept that major, you've just flattened the 7th. So it's gone from a major 7th to a dominant 7th chord, just by flattening that one note. That's all you do. I'll give you another example. Let's choose G. So I'll do G dominant 7th chord. Here we go. So first, you'd write out the notes in the G major scale. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. Then you write down the scale degree numbers. Okay, and now remember what we want. We want 1, 3, 5, flat 7. Get rid of the other ones, the 8, the 6, the 4, the 2. Flatten the 7th, yeah? And then, because it's F sharp, you just take it back a fret or a semitone from F sharp to F. So you're still flattening it. So right there, G, B, D, and F, they're all the notes in the G dominant 7th. So you do that with any key. So if you wanted let's say you wanted a B dominant 7th chord, all you would do is you would write out a B major scale and then do exactly that to it in order to change it. Really easy stuff. Now if you're looking at different music, different tabs or chord charts or whatever, you're going to see dominant 7 written in a few different ways. You might see it like this. Let's say you've got a C chord. You might see it written you might see that. You might see someone's actually gone to the trouble of writing out dominant 7th. You might see that. Or you could just see this. C Dom 7. You could see that. Or, more often than not, all you're going to see is the chord value, so the chord, and then a 7 next to it. That stands for dominant 7, okay? 9 times out of 10, generally, that's what you're going to see. So it's the same with, 9th, 11th, and 13th chords. You're going to see like a C9, okay? Something like that. It's just going to be a dominant. That's what it means, okay? And well done, that's it. So that's dominant 7th chords. Basically, so today we're looking at diminished 7th chords, yeah, okay? Now if you've watched the other video and you understand how diminished chords work, where you flatten the 3rd degree and the 5th degree, it's just adding a 7th, okay? And it's flattening the 7th twice. But it'll make more sense once we get into it. Because we're after the C diminished 7th chord, you first write out a C major scale. If you're after an A diminished 7th chord, you'd write out an A major scale and then change it this way. But it all comes back to writing out the major scale. So you put down the scale degree numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now you want 1, 3, 5, and 7, but then you alter them, okay? So get rid of the other ones first. So get rid of the 2, get rid of the 4, get rid of the 6, and get rid of the 8. So if I kept it that way, that's going to be a C major 7th, okay? If I flatten the 3rd, so E goes down a fret or down a semitone, E flat, that's a minor major 7th chord, because it still has a major 7th. If I flatten the 5th from here, so G goes down a fret or a semitone to G flat, then it's going to be a diminished C, or C diminished, with an added major 7th, okay? Very confusing terminology, yeah? But as soon as you flatten twice the 7th, so B goes down to B flat, but then it also goes down another one. So whenever you go down 2 flats, you go down a tone. So a tone you can think of as 2 frets or 2 semitones, okay? Tone, you could think of a tone abbreviated to T or T for 2, yeah? That sort of a thing. So B, double flat, is actually A, okay? So you can think of it as B double flat or you can think of it as A. The note is exactly the same. They're enharmonically equivalent, yeah? So that's exactly the same. So they're the notes in the C diminished 7th. There's the 1st, the flat 3rd, the flat 5, and the double flat 7. Now, the only reason some of you are going to say, well, it doesn't look too nice to have a B double flat, like wouldn't it just be easier writing an A? And it is easier writing an A. The only reason why I'd stick to the B double flat is if you write out the C major scale again, if you have a look, A is the 6th degree. So A is already in the C major scale. So to me, it just makes a little bit more sense altering the B with a double flat than writing an A. Because A would sort of suggest that it could be, if you just wrote the A, it could be a different type of chord. It could be like a 6th chord or something like that. But so I would keep it as looking at the double flat, because that makes more sense, yeah? If you have tab, or you have like a lead sheet or sheet music or whatever, you might see a diminished 7th written like this. So you've got C, then here's the diminished. Okay, so you might see it like that. Someone's taken the time to write out properly, C diminished 7. Or this is a bit more popular, you might just see C dim 7, dim standing for diminished. Or you could actually find this. C, little circle above the C, 7, okay? That means it's a full diminished chord. That means everything's going to be diminished. The 3rd, the 5th, and the 7th is going to be double flat, yeah? So that's a full diminished 7th. We'll get into half diminished later, but if you see a diminished chord, it could be written like that as well. Great. So just a super quick recap. Together, we're going to go through all of them really, really quickly, okay? So major 7th is 1, 3, 5, 7. That's it. So let's quickly write out the C major scale. Remember, it just goes up the alphabet, yeah? No sharps or flats. Okay, we want the 1, 3, the 5, and the 7. 1, 3, 5, 7. Get rid of the rest. Done. So that's all the notes in the C major 7th. C, E, G, B. Now let's do minor 7. So we want 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7. So get rid of the other ones. Done. Okay? So now we have to flatten the 3 and the 7th. So E goes down a fret, down a semitone to E flat. Then there's G fine, and then the 7th is flattened. So B goes down to B flat. That's it, easy. Now let's look at dominant 7th, okay? Again, right at the scale. Okay, and dominant 7th, you want the 1, 3, 5, and a 7, but it's flat. The 7th is flat. So get rid of the other ones. So all you do, 1, 3, 5, 7, flatten the 7th, so B becomes B flat. Easy. And now we'll do the last one, the diminished 7th. So with diminished 7, we're looking at 1, flat 3, flat 5, double flat 7, okay? Get rid of the other ones you don't want. So E goes down to E flat, G goes down to G flat, and B gets 2 flats. So it's either B, and B gets 2 flats. So it's either B double flat or A. Another look, I've gotten rid of the note names, yeah? So this is just the formulas. So for a major 7th chord, you want 1, 3, 5, 7. For a minor 7th chord, 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7. For a dominant 7th chord, 1, 3, 5, flat 7. And for a diminished, 1, flat 3, flat 5, double flat 7th. And that's it. That's all the sort of popular 7th chords that you're going to come across. But again, other 7th chords I'll do in more videos. Okay, well done everyone. Bye. Now just a quick sort of side note, what I've been showing is I've been showing you the scale degree numbers and how to use them, changing a major scale into minor chords, diminished chords, augmented, anything like that. There's other ways to do it. This is just the easiest way that I can show you because it's visually, and I think it works really well because you can practice it anywhere. Just need a pen or a paper and then start working it out in your head. There's a few different sort of rules of thumb, like although I did rub out the 8, the octave, in a lot of chords that you play, the octave is still going to be in there. That's not to say it's not supposed to be in there. I was just showing you the main scale degree numbers in each of the chords. Some are going to have another octaves, and if you notice it, if you work out what notes you're playing on the guitar, they're not going to be in that particular order a lot of the time. A lot of the time it's not going to be played, 1, 3, 5, 7, 8. It's not going to be like that. Maybe it'll be 1, 5, 8, 3. Something like that. It's all going to be different. The guitar isn't like a piano where it's all the notes are set out and you play the chord straight exactly like how it is. You've got 6 different pianos with all the different strings, and so you're looking at it from that way, looking at it vertically. So don't freak out if you're playing a chord and it doesn't seem to be 1, 3, 5, 7. They're just going to be jumbled up in a different sort of an order. But that's all the 7th chords, and then a lot more videos to come. Okay, bye guys.